Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I am at the Alabama Hills National Scenic Area, and I want to talk about some major changes that have happened recently. It's 2023, and the dispersed camping scene has been entirely changed around. So I've been coming here for years, and over the years it's become more and more popular. Before, you used to be able to come out here and just camp anywhere you want, like the place I'm at right now. And there were literally hundreds of camping sites, and there were literally hundreds of vans and cars and campers and RVs spread all over. That's no longer the case. They pretty much closed all the camping areas, made them day use only, and there's only a limited number of places where you can actually camp. So they put up signage that's saying no camping and day use only on certain areas, and then the areas where you're allowed to camp, they've placed camping signs. And I think there's only a total of 23 sites for the entire Alabama Hills. So that's a total change from before. And so they're encouraging you to go camp elsewhere at the other nearby campsites. And those are listed on an information board that you have access to here. So the bad news is that you can no longer come here and expect to find a place to disperse camp. I came in yesterday afternoon. Everything was filled. I drove around. Every time I got to a designated campground, it was already occupied. And there were a number of other people doing the same thing. It's just no longer the case that you can disperse camp here. And I think what happened was it just got too crazy. Too many people camping here. It's been designated a National Scenic Area in 2019. And since then, they've become more strict about the rules for camping. There is a silver lining, and the silver lining is that when you do come here, it's a lot less crowded. There's a lot fewer RVs. They're not choking up the areas where you want to explore, and there's plenty of spaces for day use. So you can camp elsewhere, drive in, and use the place during the day. I have mixed feelings about it because I've always enjoyed camping here, and I've always enjoyed camping among these crazy rocks, but that's no longer the case. Sorry to report that, but I think we all have to look at the silver lining and say it's still a great place to come and explore, photograph, hike, etc. But it's just no longer a camping area unless you happen to be one of those lucky people who get one of those 23 sites. So what I did last night is I just drove off-site and I found another dispersed camping area south of here. I did not stay in an official campground, but I found a place that was pretty nice. It wasn't quite as nice as staying here. Alright, so this area I'm traveling through right now is called Lone Ranger Canyon. So this was apparently where a number of the episodes of Lone Ranger were filmed. It's a beautiful spot. And if we look back, we can see the Whitney Crest back there, just over that brown mound of rocks. That one little triangle sitting middle left there, that's Mount Whitney. Okay, and I think this is the area where Django Unchained was filmed, if I'm not mistaken. There's an old circular structure there. Not sure what that's about. Alright, I'm kind of traveling cross country here through this area. It's not far from Lone Range Canyon, and also nearby the Django Unchained filming site. So I think that maybe some filming was done back in here because it definitely has more, you know, remote feel to it, but it's still fairly navigable. You can see over my shoulder the mountains behind me. Pretty cool. Kind of fin-like features over this way. And then here we continue on through this remote area. We may run into a road again up here at some point, but we'll just see how it goes. Alright, so I'm a little off piste now, and I'm going to climb down here and see if I can get over in that gap in the center. I think I see a road over there. So that's where I'm going to try to get to, and I gotta probably sneak under this rock here, this huge boulder. Crawl under there, whoa. See how that goes? Oh yeah, plenty of room. Oh, this is pretty cool. The cave-like thing here. There's a bit of a crouch here. Oh, 3 feet, 3.5 feet. Wow, this is pretty cool. Alright, it's a little bit steep and arduous get through here, but I think it's gonna go. Oh wow, and then we get back to the view of the mountain. Oh yeah, I see the road there, up there in the middle of the frame. It's all good. There's all these incredible campsites, but they're all marked day use only, and this is looking east toward Lone Pine. Alright, so I'm on the Arch Loop Trail now, and this is a very popular trail. The primary reason is that arch back there, and if you line it up right, you know, you can see Mount Whitney crest in the background through the arch. And if you back off a little bit, you can zoom in your telephoto and get it a little larger. Alright folks, so now I'm walking around the Gunga movie site, and you can see how beautiful it is, and there's the mountains behind me. I also want to point out that I'm kind of realizing one of the benefits of the new rules that don't allow camping in certain areas such as this one. This whole entire area is day use only now, and so what that means is when I'm walking around and checking out the old movie sets, there's nobody camping, and it's like deserted. So it's definitely a silver lining on the fact that they no longer allow camping in this area. But anyway, this is the Gunga movie site. So now we're going to go on to the next one. Alright, so now we're on to the next movie site. This area over here, this open area, this entire open area, this is where the film How the West Was Won was shot. And it's just like a really kind of open area, and you can see now the Alabama Hills right there, the brownish ones, and then the big peak right there, that's Lone Pine Peak, and then the Whitney Crest, which looks smaller and it's farther away, but it's actually much higher. I think Lone Pine's 11,000 or something, and then Mount Whitney with those the two sharp pinnacles on the left, Wheeler and Keeler, and then Whitney's the big triangle there. So this, obviously one of the things that makes the Alabama Hills so dramatic is just having this beautiful Sierra backdrop and these kind of quirky, rocky hills in the foreground. So I'm going to keep walking around, then I'm going to show you some climbing areas that exist over here. And I don't want to keep dwelling on it, but I want to say this has become a day use only area. And in the past, if you looked out here, you would see literally dozens and dozens of RVs. And the good news is there was plenty of camping for everyone, but the bad news is that, you know, if you walk around here like I'm doing now in the morning, you just be walking in and out of people's camps. And since it's day use only, it's crazy that it's a Saturday morning right now and there's essentially nobody here. It's just ridiculous. So again, that's obviously the silver lining to the new rules that don't allow much camping. All right, so if you look behind me here, there's a huge massive rock, and that one is known as a climbing area. So you can see it's pretty massive, and it's got a kind of a balanced boulder on top there. It's really beautiful. And then if we look around this way, we're looking over toward the Whitney Crest. It's really pretty, really nice. And then if we look back into the sun toward the east, it's pretty hazy over there towards Lone Pine. From the loaf there is a hiking trail that you can take. It takes you over toward a feature called Tall Wall. So this is a nice little trail, just kind of wanders around, gets you off the main roads and come back toward the other climbing area over there. Okay, the hiking trail comes out to a road area and then continues on over this way, over toward Tall Wall climbing area. I'm guessing this is it right here, and there, and there. It's all pretty good climbing. Nobody climbing today, and I don't see any protection or any chalk on there, so kind of wondering if it might be a no protection and no chalk kind of area. I'm not sure. I think this is the end of the trail to the Tall Wall climbing area. You can see looking back this way, this looks like a pretty good mass to climb. And then between these two there's some nice bouldering up there in the middle. And then on the left is another feature that looks like it's pretty good climbing. Back in the shade. Sun peeking over there. And now looking northwest back down the valley. Alright, so here's another place where the road ends, and it appears that there's a hiking trail that goes back this way, and this is going to be back where the movie 7 Men From Now was filmed. So we're going to go try to find that location. There is another way to get there. You can get there from the road, so you can bring in their crew and gear and lighting and all that. So, but the easiest way for me to get there is just to do this short hike. Is probably prettier as well. Okay, so here we are now on the movie set of 7 Men From Now. This is the area where that was filmed, and apparently the trail keeps going straight ahead, and there might be a cattle something out there. So we're going to check that out and see if we see anything. So for 7 Men From Now, there's a loop at the end of the road, which is right behind me, and then over to one side there's a trail that continues. So we're going to take this trail, and this is supposed to bring us around, and we may see something else. Beautiful area. Okay, so this is the end of the road for the 7 Men From Now movie, and this is what's called the cattle pocket. And there's no remnants or remains of anything here, but I think it's called that simply because it's kind of enclosed on 3 sides. So if you wanted to keep cattle here, you could do so, and all you'd have to do is just put fencing on this entry side, and you'd be good. Okay, I'm walking now toward a place called Paul's Paradise. Not named after me, but same name, and it's another climbing area. So you can see all the interesting features here. That pinnacle's pretty awesome. I don't know, probably 50 feet high, something like that. And then there's some more climbing area directly over that away. Here's another perspective of the Paul's Paradise climbing area. You can see our mountains in the backdrop there, and then another nice feature here. for climbing. And I'm using a really wide lens, so these are probably a lot bigger than they look. That one's probably, it's more than 50 feet, it's probably 80 feet high. And then here's another, directly over there, just a beautiful kind of pinnacle just coming up from the ground. And you can imagine how nice it would have been to camp there in the old days, but it's no longer allowed. Look at this area, just absolutely stunning. This pinnacle is amazing. Little cavernous underneath it right here. Funky rock here. Strikingly beautiful spot. This is amazing, but of course now it's day use only. So in times past, coming here I would have been walking, I wouldn't have seen it, I would have walked through somebody's campground. So that's definitely a silver lining on the new rules. Alright folks, this feature behind me right here is actually called bowling ball and pins, which is a little bit of a stretch, but you can see that what they're kind of calling the pins, and maybe that kind of roundish boulder in front of it is considered the ball, I suppose, but it is what it is. It's alright. Okay, I found another perspective that might give more the illusion of a bowling ball and pins. So this here rock in front of me is maybe the ball, and then those guys in the distance are the pins. So that looks a little more reasonable, I think. So we're going to let them get away with the bowling ball and pins concept here. Alright everyone, I am filming now back at the van because it's been incredibly windy out there every day, like 20-mile-an-hour winds, so it's really hard to get good audio. So this video was intended to be about how the camping has changed at Alabama Hills, and I have covered that, but it's also about touring Alabama Hills, which I didn't really expect. And as it turns out, the two are very much related. So when I first came into Alabama Hills, I was really bummed out because I couldn't find a campsite. Everywhere I went, it was no camping, day use only. So the place has gone from literally hundreds of campsites to maybe a dozen or two. So it's insane. You just can't camp here anymore. So my bummed outness kind of changed around as I started touring around and realizing that all the places that I like to walk around and just look around, like the old movie sets and stuff, used to be choked with campers, and now there's absolutely nobody around. So I can safely tour around those places without walking through somebody's campgrounds. So I guess what I'm saying is I think the changes are probably for the good. It's much more beautiful, it's much more pristine, but you're just missing out on the opportunity to camp here. Now you can camp here, but you just are going to have to come early and find a place that's legal before somebody else gets it, which is really difficult. I talked to a guy yesterday mountain biking, and he had found a really good spot, came in late, so he was just lucky. So you can be lucky, but what I did is I just camped off-site, and then in the early morning I would just drive in and populate a vacant day-use only spot, and then had a really nice spot like I'm at now. That's the gist of the video. I think the bad news is kind of good news in a way, depending on how you look at it, and hopefully you have that perspective. But in the meantime, I appreciate you coming along for the tour and for the explanation of the camping at Alabama Hills. And I hope you still come and enjoy this place. It's absolutely stunning and gorgeous. Touring the movie sets was super fun. I'm going to go watch some of the movies. I'm definitely a Tarantino fan, so probably my favorite is going to be Django Unchained. I will check out the other ones as well. So anyway, thanks for coming along. If you liked the film, please do give it a thumbs up and a subscribe. And until the next adventure, thanks for watching.